My first job was in the army, so I'm a military veteran, and I'm currently an author.
मैं राइटर बन सकता हूँ वाला जो ख्याल है, ये आपको कब आया?
So I listen to a lot of business podcasts, a lot of books I read and all. And when I was doing all of that and I get some ideas, I used to generally write it down. Luckily for me, I had worked at so many creators.
अभी आपने, you must have heard the news of Ranveer Ahluwalia controversy and all of that. Should they have a moral responsibility at some level?
As per a recent study I was reading somewhere, there are 80 million creators in India.
Wow.
8 crore creators in India. And less than 1% of them actually make a sustainable living. उस less than 1% के अंदर पे भी the top 0.1% maybe is people like Ranveer Ahluwalia, you know. Do they have a moral obligation? Certainly yes.
So the next thing I wanted to ask you, and again, I know we've spoken about your book a lot. You've mentioned about it. We spoke about it as well. But I never asked the name of the book. If you could just tell me the name and is it out or when is it going to be out if it's not? And then we'll move forward.
Yeah, the book is called Pixels to Profits.
Okay.
If you didn't hear it, I'll say it again. Pixels to Profits.
I didn't hear it.
Pixels to Profits. And it's releasing on the 24th of March.
Okay.
Which is... in a few days, just less than a month, a few days from now. It's already available on Amazon as a pre-order starting today.
Wow.
So please feel free. Pixels to Profit if in case you missed it.
Yes. No. I think now everybody knows it. It is published by Penguin Books.
Yes, Penguin Random House.
Wonderful.
This book is Pixels to Profit, but it also says as a subheading, it's a systematic deep dive into the creator economy.
Wow.
You cannot miss it.
No, I'm sure I will not. In terms of publishing, book writing के लिए ऐसा कहा जाता है कि writing is still easy to do. The difficult part is to get it published. And if you get a good publisher at the beginning, आपकी लाइफ काफ़ी सेट हो जाती है. ऐसा कहा जाता है जैसे कि बॉलीवुड में कहते हैं कि आपने वो धर्मा प्रोडक्शंस या यशराज फिल्म्स कर ली तो यू अराइव्ड पहले दिन से. उसके बाद व्हाट यू डू विद योर करियर इज अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी, बट आपको विजिबिलिटी, आई बॉल्स, ये वो सब मिल जाता है. तो मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे ये है कि हाउ डिफिकल्ट वाज इट for you to get your book published by such a renowned publication house? And what were the challenges there, if at all there were any?
First of all, I'm really grateful that I have a publisher like Penguin Random House. For a first-time author, there couldn't be a better, I couldn't have asked for anything better in that sense. In terms of the challenges, personally did not feel there were many challenges right now that came by. I followed the procedure, and the procedure was I identified the right person to represent my book, an agent if you may, and then we prepared the pitch for the book, and it's a very simple 1 or 2 page document which has the basic formats of what the book is about and the table of content and maybe a couple of chapters probably, and a bit of a summary of the book and all. So you prepare all of that and you pitch the book to several publishers. And then luckily for me, the subject of my book is very topical.
Right.
I mean, everybody's talking about the creator economy, very few people get it. And if somebody like me who's got years of experience of working across multiple markets of hundreds of thousands of creators is talking about it. So therefore, I got an interest from a few publishers saying that, they would be happy to kind of move ahead with the book and they would like to kind of explore the next steps and all. And one of them was Penguin, and I was really grateful because my agent did a great job in kind of sort of positioning myself in a right way with all of these publishers and all. So as soon as I got the inbound, I knew whom I had to go with. And then we got into the next level discussions, had some, to and fro in terms of, how the format will look like and all those things. And it was frankly very, very, how do I say, incident free. Okay. I'm very grateful to my editor as well, Radhika Marwa. She's an editor at Penguin. She's brilliant. I mean, and she was extremely helpful and supportive and very kind of proactive in terms of suggesting to me what the improvements might be in the book, which will make more sense for the audiences. And out of her years of experience, I think this was really helpful advice to me. The problems that people face, and I've spoken to so many of them, authors, before I was trying to get a publisher for myself, I was obviously talking to a lot of other authors as well and trying to understand how did they go about it. A lot of authors haven't been able to reach to the right publisher because I think they go on various random sort of approaches. Like they will go ahead on LinkedIn and they will inbox somebody on LinkedIn over there who's from the publisher. All of those indirect routes don't work, I feel.
Achha.
What really works is to have a direct approach, identify the right agent for yourself, who can represent your book well. Most of these big publishers, they have their own Instagram pages. Within Instagram pages, they sometimes make the right post saying that they are inviting people to, send in their manuscripts and all. Like I know Penguin does that for a fact. Like they do come out periodically and they say that, this is when we're looking for more authors to come in. I think those are the right touch points. If you don't have an agent, use those social media channels when they're actually asking proactively for the authors to come in. Use those channels. Thirdly, I feel like have a very clear story in terms of like what is your background and how does it complement the book that you're writing, and why is the book so relevant for the audiences that you're trying to approach for.
Okay.
So if you have those couple of things clearly earmarked and chalked out, I think it really makes your job as an author much easier. As much as authors are looking for the right publishers, frankly, the right publishers are looking for the right authors as well.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's a match just waiting to happen. So the question is all about how can you position yourself best for to be kind of identified by the publisher as the right author.
You said that there was an editor from the Penguin book, Radhika Marwa, you mentioned, and she suggested you changes. Now, अब आपने कोई चीज़ लिखी है, लोग अपने it's a creative outcome of things. People are very attached to their creative product. So how difficult was it to really accept those changes? क्योंकि आपने तो कुछ सोच के लिखा है, आपने तो जैसे बताया कि it was your personal experience. So how can personal experience be modified? वो बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है. So were you? Was it easy for you?
That's a good question. And frankly, additions or the modification that that an editor will suggest is just a reflection of what they feel would be better appreciated by the audiences. See, I'm an author. I'm not a person who's been writing books for a living. So I don't know how authors are going to perceive or how audiences are going to perceive. But as an editor, this person has been doing this for years together and day in and day out and multiple books. So I've got to respect their understanding of what readership will look like. But at the same time, having a voice of an author is also equally important. So therefore, there needs to be this match point, that meeting point somewhere in middle. So luckily for me, my editor hasn't come out with something which completely or fundamentally transformed the book into something else.
Right.
But there were minor tweaks, and that was also very suggestive in that manner to say that, if you were to think of it, this is great, but if you were to think of it this particular way, or if you were to approach this chapter or this story or this particular incident or this particular concept in a way slightly different, we feel that it might better resonate with the audience. And frankly, they left the end choice to the author. So as an author, I had the last call to say, okay, maybe this makes sense. And most of the time, it really made sense. So I really went with what they suggested or found a mid path where it kind of matched the sensibilities of both. But frankly, all of these suggestions were very valuable to the book. I mean, when I look back in hindsight, and if I would have carried on the same way, I think the additions or the modifications have made the book come out much better. And if I may just add over here,
sure.
Like I've been very lucky that I've been surrounded by a very, very strong set of friends and family, people who have been really strong advocates, strong champions, helping me guide every step of the way. When I can listen to them, and there's a partner I have in Dubai. There's a community called OTT Red. Now the founder of that community is a guy called Chris. Over time, he's become such a dear friend of mine, and he went ahead out of his way to suggest a few things on how my book can be kind of better perceived by the audiences in Dubai, for example. And all of those suggestions, I feel like if I was to assume right intent, they are all coming from the right source of people who are just wanting the best for their audiences and for me. They've got nothing to gain out of it.
Right.
And so many of my friends who have suggested me, changes in the book here and there, and I'm assuming always right intent. So if that is how it is going to be, and if feedback is welcome for me, I would imagine that it will only help me shape my book in a better way for the audiences. And therefore, the editor and their inputs are no different in that sense. It's all for the better of the book, and it's all for the better resonance with the audience. So I think that's perfectly cool.
Perfect. Since you are again a first-time writer, you would have had your own, you had experiences and own share of struggles. People who are aspiring to be writers, what would you like to tell them?
Get started. As of yesterday. If this is something that you really want to do, absolutely start penning your thoughts and start thinking about, even if you're busy in your current job, even if you're doing whatever you're doing and you don't have the time for, you should start at least getting your framework right in your mind. Start getting out the basic skeleton of what it might look like or what is your ultimate vision of the book. At least get the first and the last chapter there, in your head.
Right.
So when this is the start line and the finish line, then the body can still follow through. If you think that you're too tight and you're not able to, you're not a writer, you're not a person who's very comfortable writing the language and all, think about a ghostwriter. Think about somebody who can still translate your ideas and thoughts into words which will resonate.
Right.
So go with that approach if you have the economical bandwidth to do it.
Sure.
And if you are constrained with whatever your constraints are, think about people with the right kind of solution for your problem. But certainly the first and the last thing is that you as an author is the core essence of what you're going to write. So start building your thoughts out. Start framing your thoughts out. At least that is something that nobody can do it for you. You know, you have to do it yourself. And when you start framing your thoughts, don't just keep it in your mind. I've seen so many people I speak to very often who are aspirational writers, but they haven't really written a word even.
Yeah.
So I would say that even if you maintain a secret diary right now, start putting your thoughts in a diary, even if it's unstructured format. Just start dumping your thoughts somewhere.
Right.
So that you're able to come back to it over a period of time and, you know, start building some framework out of it.
Right.
A big chunk of the book today happened because a very dear friend of mine, Neha, she introduced me to the benefits of meditation.
Okay.
And I started to meditate very deeply. Frankly, a large 90% of the book really came out, the key concepts wise, during meditation because of meditation. So that mindfulness and that peace of mind is so important for a writer. That's why I'm saying don't keep it in your thoughts only. If you get a bright idea, pen it down. There'll be a lot of noise in your head and you'll end up losing it all somewhere or the other.
All right.
So yeah, get a thought, write it down, and
get going.
Build a structure, get going, talk to somebody who can help you from a product service point of view. You can, in the world in which we live now, you don't even have to rely on publishers. You can even do a self-publishing. It's all in your own hands, frankly, right? From your thoughts to your end product. You can do it as a single man army or a single woman army.
Absolutely.
You know?
So I just extend that a bit. One, of course, is the piece of becoming an author जो आपने अभी बताया मेरे को कि लिखो and शुरू करो. इसके बाद दूसरा एस्पेक्ट होता है जो कि आदमी कहता है कि अच्छा फिर फ्यूचर क्या है, कितनी ज़्यादा वो अप्रिशिएट की जाती है, कितने लोग पढ़ते हैं उसको, वो सारी कहानी भी आती है. एंड दैट्स वेयर द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कम्स इनटू प्ले. अच्छा पब्लिकेशन हाउस होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. आपके पास एक है. हाउ डज द फ्यूचर लुक लाइक फॉर यू? मतलब हाउ सेफ, सिक्योर, you know, settled that person would be as an author?
I would be God if I knew the answer to this. No, but frankly, even though it's coming from a great publisher, I'm very grateful for that. Frankly, nobody knows. Like, you know, it's not a guarantee that because this is an ex-publisher, this is going to be a bestseller tomorrow. There's no guarantee to that. I would love for it to be doing well. I think there's a lot of value in the book for everybody who's going to read it. But I can't, I can't foresee or I can't foretell that, you know, this is how it is going to wrap. You know, this is number of copies I'm going to sell. Nobody knows that. I wish it happens, but that's just wishful at this moment. In terms of what the future might be, frankly, I did not write this book for the monetary benefits that might come out of it or my career will be sorted out after this or something. I wrote this, and I think that's true for any startup founder, is when you're doing a startup or if you're writing a book, which is equal to a startup as well, you should be trying to solve the problem that you're going in for. You know, if you go with the antenna of saying that मेरे को सिर्फ रुपए कमाने हैं, then you're probably starting off at the wrong foot, right from the day one, you know, because then your approach to the product is not going to be there, is going to be very different. You'll not be trying to solve a problem, you'll be just trying to earn money. Then you know, you're not building any innovation in the whole thing.
Correct.
So I think the whole facade is all about back to the square one, where it says that, hey, you know, even if you're writing a book, identify the key subject or the key message that you want to drive out of it, even if it's a fiction book. Try to think about what is it that you want to leave people with. And if that is worth, you know, that's really worth high resonance, then I'm sure the book will automatically do well.
So how does the future look like for Ankur after the first book? Where is he with all this?
I'm living in the moment. I'm very excited about it. I feel like there's a lot of value to it. But again, frankly, I'm not building a rosy picture in my head right now. I'm living in the moment. I'm cherishing the journey more than the destination, frankly, if you ask me. I think this is a first time, experience for me. It's a check in the box. It's a life check in the box. Even if I'm not there in this world tomorrow, my book will still be.
Right.
I'm leaving a legacy behind.
Wow.
My son will read it. His friends will read it. Maybe it'll go another few years, maybe many years more later on. Somebody will still be able to order it online. So I feel like this is a part of me that I've given back to the society and back to my community, which is the creator economy community or anybody. So therefore, I feel very satisfied at the sense. I feel very at ease at the moment right now. Not looking forward many years ki isse kya hone wala aage. I have no idea, frankly.
Okay.
This is a big check in the box for me. It's a bucket list for me.
Wonderful. As you know, the show is called Marketing Masala Market. So एक मसालेदार सवाल मैं लास्ट में रखता हूँ
Oh no.
अपने गेस्ट के लिए. आपके लिए भी मेरे पास एक मसालेदार क्वेश्चन है. And since you're an author, I will try to keep it to that. So
Okay.
if there is one secret chapter in your book which never went into the publication, right? What would that chapter be?
Oh man, when I was thinking about, like when I was writing down the book color pieces and all, I felt like I should go very, like structure my book with the basis of what happened in the past, like where did it all start from? Where did the videos even start from? Where did audio start from? And then take it down to where the traditional media came in and to the point where the new media or the digital media came in. And then also keep the channel flowing into what the future of media will lolook like. So the book kind of takes that journey of a time travel from the past to the future as well. And now I'm trying to think, इस सब में कि कौन सा secret chapter हो सकता है? I think the only piece that I would imagine, gosh, this is such a trick question. But maybe I would say a lot of examples that I've given here are people who have come in and become like case studies, in that sense for the creator economy. But they're all positive case studies. Most of them are. I would have, if I was to go back in time, I would think about adding a few negative case studies as well. Folks who did not make it so well, but are still thriving. You know, because this is coming out of the question that we've asked so far.
Right.
I feel like there are so many people, for every one creator that is successful, maybe 15 fail.
Right.
So what about those 15 or 14 people? They are doing something, they're all thriving, they are doing something else. So I would, like, as a residual of our discussions today, it feels like that could have been a good addition to the book, to say what is it that people have been doing even if they're not being creators. And it's not the end of the world.
Absolutely.
Aage kya hai?
Right.
Next life.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think that's great. Perfect. So, Ankur, thank you so much. I think it was a great conversation with you. Just for the audience, the book is going to be out on 24th of March, and it's already available on Amazon as pre-order, and it is called
Pixels to Profits.
Pixels to Profits. If you have not heard, it's called Pixels to Profit. Please go ahead, order now, and definitely buy it when the book is out. Ankur, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts. It was amazing talking to you.
It was great, and thank you for having me over. It's so good meeting you again.
Yeah, lovely. Likewise. Have a great day.
Thank you
very much. What an insightful conversation. The biggest learning for me was to get started, whether you're an author, a business owner, or somebody who's planning to build an IT platform. First step is to get the ideas in your mind on a piece of paper. Don't try to perfect them, but plan to start them. What was it for you? Do write those in the comment box. Thank you for following us. I do love to listen back, read your comments, and they are very, very encouraging. Please do like, share, follow us to stay connected with new episodes and the new guests that we will bring in. And I will see you again very soon.